Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome back to Man City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. We have a lot to discuss today, and this is our new program on this channel. It is called as Reddit Evenings. So we'll have it every evening, as the name of the show suggests, and it is called as Reddit Evenings because we are going to do this show by discussing our usual issues of the day or the week, and we are going to take consideration, take help from the Reddit comments as well. We are going to take the discussion forward by taking into account the Reddit comments as well. So that's why we have decided to call the name of this show Reddit Evenings. So let us start. There's a lot to discuss today. There's a lot to discuss about the reaction to the Atletico Madrid draw. Our fan base somehow seems to be divided about that Atletico Madrid draw. I don't know. I'm divided. I don't know which way. Should I be happy or sad? Literally, I didn't know how to react because I can understand Atletico Madrid is actually poor in the domestic seasons, but then in a cup tie, in a Champions League game, you know that form just goes out of the window. It's not just about form; it's about many things. It's about your past experience. It's about your your style of play, your identity in that competition, your system of play, and many City fans will be hurt, but this is the truth. Atletico Madrid have a greater identity in the Champions League competition than us. Atletico Madrid have gone to finals, what, twice or thrice in the last decade. Atletico Madrid in the last decade, almost every year, they were at least in the semi-finals. They know how to play those tense situations, and sometimes more than the kind of team you have, more than the kind of manager you have, all all it depends on is the mentality. Most of the times it depends on the mentality of the players playing in those pressure situations in the past. You saw when City lost the final last season, everybody was unhappy. All of us City fans, I was very unhappy actually, because literally a week or 2 weeks I really felt very bad. But the truth is, we have started to be in the Champions League competition, what, only in 2012 or something regularly, or even you could say from 2014 regularly, 14 15. So our history in the competition is just 4 5 years old, and in these 4 5 years we are consistently gone to the last 16, then we have broken the barrier 2 seasons back, and then last season we have gone to the final. So slowly we are progressing, and people somehow seem to underestimate how difficult it is especially in a knockout tie, especially in one of the biggest cup competitions in Europe and in the world, to without having that experience of playing in those situations, because you're a goal down. We score an early goal against Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid will actually know that we have been in this situation in the past. Fine, let us not panic. But as Chelsea scored the goal in that final, we panicked. If we were ourselves, I'm sure we panicked. We began to give long balls. We began to do stuff that was uncharacteristic of us. So being there time and again, being there time and again will teach you as a team how to deal with those situations. Look, the manager, yes, Pep tinkered with it and all, but as I said, he was not wrong to tinker with it, because he literally thought Bernardo Silva and Gundogan could play that man-to-man role, and you could not fault him. The only reason we lost that game was not because of the midfield against Chelsea, was not because of the midfield. It was actually because of our lack of confidence, us going into a shell. We were conceding early chances. The goal was just an inevitability that it would happen. So I think the mentality is so much important there in Champions League games, and we tend to overestimate the amount of money we spent. We tend to overestimate the kind of people are telling we have the best team in Europe right now. We have spent the most money. Pep has spent so much on defense, so we should win the Champions League. No, what happened to PSG? People say they're a bunch of spoiled brats, but in pressure situations, your money goes out of the window. Mentality is something that is so much underestimated in this game. That's one thing I will never understand. Why is mentality so much underestimated in this game? People really love talent. People appreciate. the kind of skills, the kind of talent, the kind of panache, the kind of style players have. But the teams that really win the Champions League, the coaches that win the big competitions, the teams that go on and become one of the best in the world, always have that mental side of the thing much bigger than all of your style element and all of that. Look at Real Madrid, the legendary Real Madrid, who won from 2014 to 16, 17. You look at the legendary Barcelona team. You look at all those great Milan teams. You look at the great Man United team who won the treble and who were exceptional. Mentality is the thing that really differentiates people who overestimate skill and talent and underestimate mentality. And that is one thing which I will never understand. And I do not know. That's why people thinking Atletico Madrid is an easy tie and all. It's not easy. Come on, it's not easy because they've been there and done that for 7 8 years, and we have been in the Champions League altogether for what 6 7 years, consistently starting from 2014. They've done that, been in the semi-finals. They've consistently been in the knockout competitions for 6 7 8 years. So let us actually go into the discussion. This called is Reddit evening, so I'll just share all of the Reddit tabs. First, we'll go about what people think on the draw with Atletico Madrid. So people are actually telling that the one elite European team that we haven't played yet, kind of guessed it, to be honest. Meanwhile, Atleti must be bored of drawing English teams. By now, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, and now in 3 seasons. But you must understand with Liverpool and Chelsea, from when have Liverpool been a constant in this competition? From 2006, right? So they nearly have a decade of experience more than us. And in this world of instant gratification, I think it's very important to realize it's a process. It's I mean, people these days is so much that they want to have everything instantly. You want to 10x 100x your money instantly. You want everything to be instant. You don't believe in the process, and I think that's the problem. I think that's where Pep has changed it. Process. Really need to believe it. I think City will be at the level of Barcelona, at the level of Real Madrid, at the level of Bayern Munich in terms of constantly reaching top four, constantly reaching the semi-finals in Champions League in another 5 6 years. It's not now. Now the present our target is to constantly go into the quarterfinals, and then it would be nice if we would make a habit of going to the semi-finals. But I do feel that we still have that one more step of being there, doing that time and again in the Champions League, in pressure situations, especially in the Champions League. So I would say another 3 4 years at least for us to really be there day in and day out every year, like your Milans, your United, your Real Madrid, Madrids can be. Look at that, Real Madrid are they're not that big of a team, but still they're doing quite well in the Champions League, right? They're one of the favorites to reach the semis. Same with Atletico Madrid. For they're doing shit in the league, they're doing crap in the league. So I think it's all about the experience of being there. Rory MCFC says we've got Chelsea's number this year. Ozzy the Turtle says, you mean we got KDB? Yes, KDB was the one who's won us both the games. So there's a bit of discussion here about, we had Liverpool and Tottenham's number in 17 18 and 18 19 as well. But one thing we need to understand here is league form goes out of the window. It's just almost like a derby, a derby, league form, everything is just thrown out. What matters is your mental side on that day, and have you been there and done that experience sort of matters. And also that Liverpool 2018 one, I just think we didn't have any luck in that game. The score line, someone says the Liverpool won that 5-1 over 2 legs, didn't they? Pretty difficult to say City deserved to win that. The score line tells you that, but in the first leg at 2-1 or 2-0, we had the chance to, we scored a goal and it was incorrectly disallowed for offside. I think it was Sane who scored, and it would be 2-1. We would have got an away goal going into our home leg. and we scored an early goal in the home leg. So 2-2, and the match would have been different there. Yep, from what I remember, there were three major decisions. The Milner touch, which was ruled offside and should have been a goal for KDB. The Salah offside before Firmino's goal, and no foul calling on Sterling for City's only goal. Uh, exactly. I mean, that was all referee having a shit performance. That Liverpool one, and also that Spurs one, when we that hurt a lot when we went out in the last 16. I think it was 2019-20 season. Over that VR handball, I still thought that was a handball. So, but then in that match, Aguero missed a penalty because that would have been the away goal that would have taken us through. So a lot of things again. So that's what being there and doing that matters, because you exactly know how to behave in each situation, how not to take the pressure. You Aguero missed. We were playing until that point against Spurs in that 2018-19 season. Aguero misses a penalty, and we panicked, just gave the game away for the rest of the time. I mean, we couldn't recover from that. So you face a bad moment, and how quickly you can get out of it and go on and focus on the next phase of play, that is what decides who will win the Champions League. That is what is, especially in tough competitions. In the league, there are so many matches. I know league is about consistency, but then it's not be all and end all on that night, right? League, especially in the early phases. But Champions League is the be all and end all in 1 second. You could play well all of the entire season in the Champions League. In 1 second, you do a mistake, give away a penalty, or let a Lewandowski in, your season Champions League is over. That's how ruthless the strikers in Champions League are. So we need to be extremely careful here what we are talking. Stone Age says Aguero derby it is. Let's do it. Yeah, hope Aguero attends both the matches. Roddy Sain says this is going to be an ugly tie, scrappy, frustrating, brutal. This is where we'll sorely miss someone like Aguero, who could pull a goal out of nothing. I really think Jack Grealish is suited to these kind of games, playing in those tight spaces, gliding through. I think he had an outstanding game against Crystal Palace, though the score lines are not always the true reflection of what we do. But ultimately, it's the score lines that are important when you want to win the big silverware in the end. So Jack Grealish for me had a very good game. Bernardo 3 yards out on another day. City would have just scrapped the game 1-0, and everyone would have been talking about, wow, City are not just going to drop points this season and all. It's just the difference of 3 yards on how people's opinions change. Now people are placing Liverpool as the front contender and all. Fair enough to them, but that's how it changes. So don't take too much out of what the media and the pundits say. It's just a difference of 3 yards, and how much people can just change their opinions for 3 weeks that they have been sitting over for literally an entire year. Spooky underscore bogey says low block with good counter attacking play. Going to be honest, this has an embarrassing exit written over it. Yes, I know people are, talking about Leon in the past. People are talking about Spurs in the past, and all of those things. But we have improved so much defensively. Now we know how to manage the game well. Now we know how to defend counterattacks well, manage transitions well. I think it was only against Spurs where we did not manage transitions well, but still we should have got at least a point out of that game. Look at that, a point against Spurs, and we had 2 points ahead of Liverpool. I think that all of these small points actually matter. So 380, Roddy Sainz says 380 team too. I'm getting Chelsea and Leon flashbacks. But we are a much improved team from then. I'm sure the players would have learned so much from the Champions League final defeat. It hurt them. It was like putting a dagger through their heart. They learned so much, especially the transitions. We lost the Chelsea match not because Chelsea were good, but because Zinchenko was just slow. He did not pick up the run of Kai Havertz over there. So if there was a more athletic fullback over there, even an Ake or a Cancelo, Havertz doesn't score that. So, and also you should remember, De Bruyne was injured early on in the second half when we were actually getting a grip of the tie. So I think we have learned so much. There's no team that is, Chelsea started playing Champions League somewhere in 2006 consistently, and they won their first Champions League only in 2012. So 6 years. When did we start the Champions League consistently? 2015 or something? and it's 2021, so it's been 6 years. And how did Chelsea win their first Champions League? Arjen Robben misses a penalty in the extra time. Bayern Munich just dominate the entire match when Drogba scores a set piece. So Chelsea won the Champions League with a manager who was an interim, who was there at the club all for 2 months. They won the Champions League by on a set piece. They won a Champions League because a Bayern Munich player misses a penalty in the extra time. Arjen Robben of all players misses a penalty in extra time. So you see how many factors have come together for Chelsea to win their first Champions League. And we last Champions League, we didn't need any kind of luck in the final. De Bruyne was injured, so you need. I'm not saying here you need luck and all, lot of luck and all to win, especially with the VAR in place now and all. But then you at least need few things coming together. Like for example, uh, all your star players fit and having the right kind of mentality. So especially in these cup ties, you actually need a few things coming together in order to get over the line. Ping Vino says, I mean, they barely got through United. They have 7 losses in La Liga. Over 2 legs, we should be able to do them. I say it's the easiest of ties, bar Benfica or Villarreal. I don't agree. Villarreal was always a tough tie. Benfica was a tricky one. They played really well against Ajax. They defeated Ajax, who play a similar style to ours. They defeated a manager who is said to be one of the replacements of Pep, so Eric Ten Hag. So there is something in Benfica. I think Bayern, Liverpool will find out. I hope they find out. And also, I mean, again, the league form just goes out of the window. I mean, where are Villarreal in the league, for example? And they knocked out Juventus. They are having a very shitty season as well. The La Liga teams never seem to go away of these European competitions. Pep said once, why don't why doesn't the England national team reach semi-finals as consistently as the Spanish team does? Pep said that even the Spanish team was not doing it consistently before the 2008 2007 era, but they made a constant effort to get past the quarterfinals, get into the quarterfinals, get past the quarterfinals. Every time in all the competitions they were there, and then they made that leap to semifinals, final, they win the trophy. So that's what Pep says. For your first step should not be just the final and win the trophy. It should be to consistently get into the latter stages, and then you take the other step. The final step, because then you get used to the pressure. The quarterfinals, the last 16 actually seem difficult to us. If you see, when 3-4 seasons ago when Pep just arrived, we threw away a 5-3 league against Monaco. Now a 5-3 league, and you'd say that the, against Monaco in the first leg, for example, and you'd say that there's no need to play the second leg as well. This team will never drop such a lead. So just think it's the improvement. You look at it from being dumped out of the last 16 against Monaco, having a 5-3 lead in the first leg, to being consistently in the quarterfinals, going to the semi-finals, having made the final last year. We've come a long way. We've come a long way from being knocked out in the group stages by Borussia Dortmund early in 2013-14 to consistently reaching the quarterfinals and being favorites for at least the semi-final stage. So we've come a long way. So the match is going to be exciting. Plus, Atletico Madrid have that experience as well. They're not even slit thesauruses. They're not even that good bus pagas anymore, to be honest. This is a tie I would have been terrified of 5 years ago, but I think they're a lot worse now. Mate, they knocked out Liverpool and United in recent outings. Exactly, I think it was last year where they knocked out Liverpool. I mean, the Liverpool game was ridiculous though. Liverpool were all over them that second leg, and the fact that they lost the tie was to Liverpool missing a comical amount of chances. And I don't really understand your United point. We're a much better team than them at the moment. I mean, would it be a walkover for us? Of course not. But is this the best draw we could have gotten? That isn't Benfica or Villarreal? Undoubtedly. I mean, I don't agree. I would have preferred Bayern actually. Missing a comical amount of chances. Sterling versus Leon flashbacks. Yes, Sterling never misses giving flashbacks to you, right? They struggled heavily at the beginning of the season, but the recent form is nothing to scoff at. Their Palace on crack. That was a good run. Their style of play is a perfect counter to ours, and the league form always goes out of the window in the UCL. Look at Leon and Spurs, exactly. But to be honest, Leon were actually no, their position was France League and all. So it's fine. Kings Kid 20 says we can definitely beat them 1-0 in two legs if we play solidly. We will always have chances. The issue is about taking them when they come. Each time we did not beat low block teams, it is because we missed chances. As per susceptibility to counters, that is only if Pep lets us play that way. We really don't need to be ultra attacking to beat them. Chelsea beat them easily last season. We just need to counter their threats the way Chelsea did last season. I mean, about counter attacking teams, whom did we lose to? Okay, Spurs in the first game of the season, where the first games of the season can be a bit of an anomaly. You just don't really, you're just coming in after a hectic schedule. I mean, it doesn't really tell you who you are. But then Crystal Palace, we lost in October something, I think in September, and the reason we lost is we were down to 10 men. It was an error by Amaric Laporte, it was an error by Ruben Diaz, so it was our error, it was not our inability to break down the low block. And breaking down the low block with 10 men, I don't think it's favorable. And then we lost to Spurs, you could say. We lost to Spurs. It should have been a draw. We lost to Spurs because again we missed a few chances. We should have, it should at least have been a draw. So we didn't lose there technically. There's this Kyle Walker thinking he has turned into a modern day back and buyer. That is the reason why we lost to Spurs. And then the reason we lost to Crystal Palace is us missing a lot of chances. I mean, Bernardo Silva, two open goals. What else can the manager do? Kevin De Bruyne had in the post, cancel it in the post. So literally on another day we could have had a 4 for or a 5 for against Crystal Palace, and literally that Crystal Palace game on another day could have been the game where we had even closed the goal difference on Liverpool, and it would have frightened the shit out of Liverpool. Uh, come their visit to Anfield, because we win that game against Crystal Palace. I know it hurts now, but let me complete the sentence. If we win that game against Crystal Palace with at least a 4-0 scoreline, Liverpool would have had to beat us at the Etihad in that tie, and they would also have to worry about the goal difference, and that too it would have been without Trent Alexander-Arnold. So literally we would have had Liverpool hanging by a thread, but now it's completely different scenario. Kunaguero 123 says no one's arguing about the result if we play solidly. We can't play solidly against counter teams, and we have kings of counter teams. We knew Palace bottom half team would give us a hard time. Not to mention Liverpool can probably rest versus Benfica, but then it's objectively hard. We might do well. And league form always goes out of the window in the UCL. So Desi2 guy 87 says, not sure that completely true. It will still be a difficult tie, but it shouldn't be forgotten that this Athletic course clearly declined a little over the past couple of seasons. League form and all go out of the window, this decline, but the mentality will not go out of the window. The mentality of Simeone, the mentality of playing in tough, high pressure games in the last knockout games, it really requires you to be an animal of a different kind to play in these crunch games. That's what Pep really wants to instill in us. He wants us to suffer well. I think a team like Bain is more perfectly set to counter our team. Atletico will allow us a lot more time on the ball and won't be able to counter well. They don't really have the ability up front. If we don't miss too many chances, we should be through easily. It's not going to be easy, but then it's going to be an interesting tie for me. Clash of personas, clash of personalities, clash of philosophies. It's probably Lovino says it's probably going to be games with next to no chances. A lot of possession, useless passes that circle back between the same 4 to 6 players. A lot of bus parking from Atletico hoping for a counter attack that will give you heart attack experiences. They have Joao Felix and Griezmann up front, both of whom have been excellent lately. This tie could get spooky. Sixes. This tie could get ugly fast for City. Nothing compared to Son and Kane or Liverpool or Bayern's forwards. They're good but manageable. I think that Spurs game, Pep got something tactically wrong there. I think that was the only thing, because there were always three runners with Kane. I think the Spurs game, we would have won that Spurs game easily if Fernandinho played in the midfield. He would have just cut off Kane, and once you cut off Kane, you just cut off the blood supply to, to all of the veins. That is what playing Spurs is all about. That's what I've realized. And you tightly mark Son, and I don't know in that Spurs game why Walker was playing high. You tightly mark Son, you follow him, you could put Walker on Son, and then you could put a Fernandino on Kane. And how will Spurs play? You can see actually. Countering is literally what we excel at, because we actually have Joe Felix 9 says he must be an Atletico fan. He says countering is literally what we excel at because we actually have the ability up front. We have the second most La Liga goals and our counters are always deadly. We don't need much. Exactly like we saw against United. It's two touch, three touch pass goals. That's some of the best counter-attacking football I've seen since Jose Mourinho's Real Madrid actually. So we really have to defend against the counter attack. Honestly, trust our Champions League form over our league form at the moment. Their form has recently been good. Code Spider says their form has picked up of late just as ours has sputtered a bit. Felix has a funny trait of scoring goals within the first 5 minutes of matches lately. They finally got the centre backs and healthy. It will be a tougher clash than we would have thought a few months ago. Exactly. Pink who says, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I'd still rather face them than Chelsea, Liverpool, or Pain. I mean, I would actually prefer facing Liverpool because we have three matches in a row, which means okay, so I mean that would mean we would have had three matches in a lower row against Liverpool, which would have meant that it would not have been easy for Liverpool as well to be at full tilt in all of the three matches. Watching them of late, if they get an early goal as they have had a tendency to do, we will be in a world of pain trying to break them down. They've also had a knack of making brain fart mistakes, particularly in the league, but they've woken up since the United first leg. I would rather we get Real Madrid, even though they have been in La Liga this season, and I fancy my chance against Chelsea. Exactly, that's what even I thought. Like people are saying here, they're saying they prefer a back and forth game against Liverpool than a whole bus parking of 180 minutes against Atletico Madrid. So another other thing is like we mentioned in the thumbnail as well. What is the Sterling over Mahrez? That discussion, that discussion is even Gabriel Jesus over Mahrez. That discussion is really caught fire in the last few games. I think Mahrez has been exceptional. He's become almost undroppable for Pep this season. So especially in the second half of the season. I think Jesus Sterling, it's a difficult one. Would Jesus have done something against Crystal Palace? Maybe with a bit more physicality, but Sterling would have done sod all. Because I mean, Crystal Palace is sitting deep. You don't need pace or someone who runs behind or something. And also, really, I think what Pep feels is Jack Grealish is really pivotal to us going far in the Champions League, and pivotal to us, going far in the league as well. So I just think that Pepsi's Jack Grealish as the pivotal cog, and Grealish has really improved in the last few. Uh, I mean, over the course of the second half of the season. So Pep is really finding it difficult to fit in Sterling. And where exactly do you fit in Sterling? He has a knack of missing open goals where you have Riyad Mahrez is the top scorer for us in the league. He takes penalties. He is, I mean, in our overall season as well, Mahrez has been the top scorer. He takes penalties as well. I mean, his work rate, his defensive work rate has really improved this season. He's at the top of his game. He's in the purple patch. So I would prefer having someone like a Riyad Mahrez. I mean, Mahrez would have a hat trick against Crystal Palace on another day. The- Just not lucky then. So I don't know. I'm struggling to see where would Sterling come. Where would Gabriel Jesus come? Actually, I don't know. And also another thing is. Uh, what were you talking? Kyle Walker, yes, the replacement for Kyle Walker. I mean, people have been talking that Walker is already 32 this season, and we need someone to replace him. People have been talking about Pedro Porro, us having a 17 million euro buyback clause from Sporting for Pedro Porro. But what people are forgetting here is Jan Kuto. Jan Kuto, almost you should watch him play. He's just Jan Kuto is just excellent. If you watch him play, his style of play will remind you about someone like a Danny Alves. Actually, his technical is superior to Walker. He has great pace, not as much as Walker, I would say, but literally almost close to what Walker has. His crossing is excellent. The way he can just cut into box, like he can dribble like Cancelo. He's almost another Danny Alves with a dribbling ability like Cancelo. Is really strong. His defensive ability is good. So I think he's surely an upgrade on Walker. And the news on Jan Kuto is when he was signed, he was promised that his first season would be a loan, and then he would be slowly integrated into the team. So I think next season we'll see Jan Kuto, coming back into the team. So and slowly transition to replace Walker. And Cancelo will be there, and maybe we might buy another left back because you just can't keep on relying on Zinchenko year in and year out. Just imagine Cancelo is injured before the Champions League tie. God forbid, fingers crossed that it should not happen. But what if he's injured? You literally are screwed. Walker out for by suspension and Cancelo out with an injury. What would you do? Who would you play? Stones and Zinchenko against a team who's one of the best at counter-attacking? I really don't know. So we have to look to buy a backup left back. We don't have anyone coming in from the academy. And Kyle Walker replacement in Jan Kuto. So there's a lot to discuss today. Literally, especially the Atletico Madrid tie. Still, a lot of people are confused, including me. I am confused. Check out my blog, mancityunplugged.com, where I've written an article exactly about that. Like, how do I feel about this draw? And also to subscribe to the channel if you're liking the content, and also please click on the like button. And see you all, and just let me know in the comments below, have you enjoyed this new version Reddit evenings or not, and how would you like us to improve this program? So see you all, take care, and we have a tie against Southampton, so join me for the live watch along for that tie. See you all.